second kind of questions that you would face in an examination would be essay type questions.
What's the right way of dealing with those?
They could be descriptive questions requiring you to describe a topic.
I think answering essay type questions in law school is slightly different from how we did it in school.
The idea of an essay type question is to give you thinking space or writing space. So just make sure that you cover the context, you give or you discuss the facts in detail.
Or you may think it's not so much about those specific words and how you put them across. But at the end of the day, it is still those ingredients that the teacher is looking for, which if she finds in your or he finds in your essay type question, they are going to mark you for.
I would generally advise you to stick to the word limit, because teachers who generally put a word limit in a question paper are more likely to be happy if you stick to it.
When you are answering such a question, just write what you know. Don't worry about it not being long enough to justify those marks, because while writing endlessly on every one of these questions might score you special points with some kind of professors, you'll only be doing a disservice to yourself in the end.
There is no need to write things which you think are irrelevant just to increase the size of your answer. I don't think it's going to work for any teacher out there. And if a teacher insists on it, even then I just don't think it's a healthy practice.
Of course, there can be all sorts of teachers. There are some teachers who really like it when you fill up sheets and sheets.
Often different teachers like their answers to be written in different ways. But as a first year, you would not know that.
It'd be great if you could actually talk to a senior and get to know what a teacher is like, or just pay attention in class, ask your other batchmates who probably pay more attention than you do.
Get into conversation with seniors and with other classmates that may possibly have had more interaction with the teacher.
But make sure that before you go into your classroom, you've done your research on how your teacher likes their questions.
I've seen in my law school life that students get excited after reading the question that alright, I have read this particular topic, I'm able to write everything on earth on this. So that should happen, but that should be followed by a clear outline of the answer. You need to organize all that you've read.
Due to the sheer length of the answer, one often either loses flow with the previous point that they're trying to correlate it to, and hence it's always useful to just note down a few bullets and then structure your answer accordingly.
It's important that you organize your essay type question just like you organize your problem based question.
You need to segregate the major issues from the minor issues. I've seen that mostly students tend to spend more time writing on minor issues and they tend to ignore the major ones. So that's where you get an edge.
Any long question, any long answer, you also have to realize it's going to be boring for the invigilator, for the examiner. So you have to keep them interested. And for that, a well-structured answer is always important.
So now then you move on to the jurisprudence.
So it is important that you mention case laws in your essay type question first of all. It is extremely important as a law student that your teacher knows that you not only know what the theory is, but also how it's been applied by the courts.
Now each major issue should have 3 paragraphs. Firstly, about the issue, secondly, about your analysis, and thirdly, about the conclusion.
Follow the general rule of putting your research in the middle, putting your introduction on the top, and putting your conclusion in the end.
This has to be followed for all the major issues. For the minor issues, you can probably draw 1 or 2 paragraphs stating stating the issue and probably giving 1 or 2 sentences analyzing it.
And the general advice on include headings, include subheadings, and if you can, probably underline your case laws so your teacher just pays better attention to them.
If you have properly managed the time and finished the major issues and described about them, you can probably go on to critically analyzing the issues and drawing similarities or differences of the topic from famous jurisdictions. So for instance, if we talk about torts, you can probably go on to explain what is the jurisprudence in England. So if we talk about constitution, you can probably talk about cases and the jurisprudence existing in USA. it is appreciated that law students read as much as they can about other jurisdictions as well. So that's how you get an edge over other answer scripts, and that's how you're expected to answer questions and analyze them in the long run.